In this video we're gonna go through some major differences that are very evident when you observe beginner athletes and professional athletes in strength training, especially when it comes to the aspect of overloading. So it's easy to believe strength training is just a matter of choosing a weight, performing it for X amounts of reps and sets for one period, and then just simply do a heavier amount for the next session and just continue doing that. While this kind of linear overloading might work for a while, it's not gonna work forever. It might work if you're a beginner, you're not accustomed to strength training for before and you don't have this margin of improvement. Then in that case it might work for you, but if you're gonna do this long term, it requires a little more ingenuity than that. So to the main purpose of the video. What is one of the greatest pitfalls in strength training that is very evident, especially in novice athletes? It is the following. Emptying the tank every single strength training session, just going overboard, training to your maximal capacity day in day out every session, leaving yourself with extreme central nervous system fatigue and just not giving your body any ability whatsoever to recover. And we'll get to this more later, but the biggest reason for this is basically impatience and greed. People want results today, not in 1 month, not in 2 months, not in 1 year. They are in a testosterone-filled environment like the gym, they are competing with their friends, they are seeing people lift heavier than them, they are comparing themselves to other athletes. All of this can breed a lot of impatience, and they don't realize that every puzzle is constructed differently, everyone has different genetics, physiology, like everyone's road to a certain strength level, to their peak performance, is different. So this leads to stupid decisions. Have you ever observed strength athletes on the professional level? And I'm not talking about this average strongest guy in your commercial gym. I'm talking about elite level powerlifters and Olympic weightlifters. If you notice their training on their social media accounts and training footage in general, you will see that they rarely ever struggle in their training sets when they are lifting. Very, very occasionally you will see them struggle in training sessions when they are like preparing for a competition or in the competition itself. That is the rare exception. But in the majority of their training sessions, they are not struggling. Like the weights, they go up very easily, like smoothly. You don't see them, almost never see their form getting compromised because they are doing everything smoothly. And this is for the simple reason that they are training below their maximal capacity for the day. They want to keep a margin of safety to be able to effectively adapt to this kind of strength training, like give the body appropriate stimulus to come back stronger later the next session. We'll get into this more later, but the average beginner, they have this misconception that every single strength training set in the gym has to be a freaking war. And this is the reason why beginners, it is often them that get overtrained and burned out and all of that, because they are just approaching every single strength training session with a war. You have to understand that a max out session, or a competition in other words, is not the ideal style to build strength. You are just finding out where your strength level is at. To build strength, you have to be below your max capacity to progress very gradually. Many beginners in strength training, they tend to have a sledgehammer approach to things. If someone tells them that to become strong you need to work hard, they think that they have to burn themselves out on every single strength training session, training to maximal capacity. Even if form is compromised and the body starts breaking down, they think that is the way to go. And in contrast to that, when they are told to recover, they think they have to lie down on their sofa for a whole week drinking Budweiser or something, and suddenly they're this Duracell bunny, I don't know. They tend to see things in extremes, and once again, this is strength training. It's pretty complex. It requires a little bit more ingenuity than that. It is not that simple. You have to be like those adjustable light switch, adjust to the situation. There needs to be like a gray zone. You can't think in black and white terms. That's catastrophic. You'll sabotage for yourself. Those people, what they are doing is they think they are approaching strength training. Like they think strength training has to be high risk and high reward for an improvement to happen. But what they actually are doing is high risk and low reward, because you burning yourself out every single training session, you're not getting back a lot from that. In fact, you're only breaking down your body and getting weaker and getting stuck in plateaus and never progressing. So in reality, you might think you're doing high risk and high reward, but you're doing high risk and low reward. And also we have a selected few category that approaches things in low risk and low reward. Those are the people who are always stuck, never progressing, never daring to increase the weight. Although this is also bad, it's still better than the former, because at least you don't injure yourself this way. What the pros, however, are doing, and contrary to popular belief, this is very possible, is to approach your strength training in low risk and high reward. And you do that by learning the scientific models, the scientific methodology, using common sense in your training, and above all, working under a qualified coach. Either joining a weightlifting club, a powerlifting club, being around people that actually know what the hell they're doing, so they can share that knowledge with you. This is the cornerstone of everything, like not going at it alone and working under competent people. So let me illustrate an example scenario here. Suppose we have an athlete that takes X amount on the deadlift, and let's say his max capacity therefore would be 5 sets of 5 reps on 150 kilograms. So what does he do? He approaches his first week like this. He goes 5 by 5 on 150 kilograms, his max attempt that is. And obviously he would finish the workout by a hair. Like, he had to grind out all the lifts, the form got compromised, he got very exhausted physically and mentally, and he made it out of the workout by a hair. And because of this, like, he thinks this was a good idea, like he's full of confidence now, like, oh, I smashed my workout, I worked hard. And the next week, what does he do? He tries to progress. 5 sets of 5 reps on 155 kilograms. And here, the form is compromised pretty bad. He has not even recovered from that last session because it was way too hard than he was ready for. He misses his repetitions, the plan goes to shit, and the workout fails. So for the following sessions after that, he's significantly overtrained, like weights that were previously very easy and smooth for him, they feel like a ton, and he has lost majority of his confidence and enthusiasm, and he's in need of a significant recovery period. This is a very common pitfall that many beginner athletes, including myself when I was new, fall into. They will be stuck in this endless, vicious circle of training at maximal or near maximal capacity, and then overtraining sets in, and then they have to recover because of their overtraining, and then when they get recovered, they once again don't learn from their lesson and train at maximal capacity again, and this circle just continues until they are like forced to make a wise decision, like hire a coach or read a book, educate themselves somehow that makes this paradigm shift. They are basically stuck in a circle like this until they learn. Some people, they don't learn and they quit altogether because of an injury or a burnout, and the people who do learn, they progress. With that being said, here comes a superior approach that a more mature athlete would use. So let's say once again that the max again is 5 by 5 at 150 kilograms, then the wise decision would be to probably the first week decrease the intensity a little bit, do 5 by 5 on 145 kilograms. Now, considering that the athlete has good technique, they will be able to perform every repetition very smoothly, and the workout, they will end it with spare energy in the tank, which is key, leaving the workout with a little bit of spare mental and physical energy. This is something the pros do, and this is one of the single greatest tips I can give you. So after this workout, he will feel fully recovered, very confident, like, oh, I smashed the previous workout very easily, and now it's time to approach the second workout, which is 5 by 5 at 150 kilograms, which was his previous maximum. And he will smash through this 5 by 5 at 150 kilograms because the previous workout gave him this adaptation. He now feels confident, everything went smoothly because it was like a little steps at a time. This workout would otherwise have felt very hard had he done this the first week instead, jumped into it straight. But he made a wise decision and give the body some medium stimulus so that it adapts to this, and now he smashed through this workout. And now he has had 2 workouts that went effortlessly, like very smooth. Not effortlessly, but they went very smooth. So this means that in the 3rd week, he can actually attempt a new record, 5 by 5 on 155 kilograms. And chances are he will smash through this workout as well. And it might be very challenging, but not super challenging. And even despite this, he might take a little bit of recovery after this workout to stay on the safe lane at least. Not that he has to, but out of just keep things safe. This is how the pros approach training. And this is a very generalized model, of course. It's not gonna be like this every time, and it's not gonna work every time if you approach it exactly like this. It's a generalized model, but I want you to understand the principle, like staying a little bit, having a margin of safety and giving your body just enough stimulus and not too much, so that performance can increase gradually and smoothly. This transition is very important. To put things simply, what you have to do also is to train with a safety margin. Approach a session with a safety margin. Stay a little bit below your maximum capacity. Then you will smash through your workout and adaptation can occur, because once again, strength is not built by maxing out all the time, by killing yourself. It is built by staying a little bit below your maximal capacity so that it is just enough stimulus for development to happen. And then when this adaptation occurs, you are ready to break a new record to see where you're at. And then after you break this record, you introduce a brief recovery period, and you once again train with a safety margin that is below your new maximum that you found out, and you're in this winning circle like this. This is how the pros approach the training. And all of this begs the following two questions. Number one, what is one's reliable maximal capacity on a given lift? Not just maximal capacity, but reliable maximal capacity. That is important. And number two, how far below this maximal capacity should one stay at a given training session for an optimal adaptation to occur? Like the best bang for the buck, reps and sets and weight, all of that stuff, day to day. The first question is pretty simple to answer. You just perform a maximal test, like a 1 repetition maximum, 2 repetitions, 4 repetition, and then you can use various mathematical formulas to calculate your 1 repetition maximum if you want, whatever you want. Just perform a test when you're in a recovered state and you obviously have good form and technique and all of that obvious stuff. So that's pretty simple to answer. The second question, however, is a little bit more complex, because there is no universal formula, although we have made various attempts in sports science to develop one of those that really determines what weights you should be using for a given session. There is no formula like this. Otherwise, if I had such a formula, I would be rich beyond my imaginations, because that would make everyone develop to their maximal potential just by following something mathematically. But that's not how it works. And that is for the simple reason that we are humans. We have emotions. We are physically fit one day. We might have a shitty day at work one day, and this might affect our training session. We might have slept bad. It's impossible to determine. So the single greatest thing you can do is to work under a coach, hire a coach, join a powerlifting club, so that those experienced people can help you out with the most common pitfalls. They can tell you what to do when you're feeling overconfident, when you're feeling like they will put you down, like, no, don't do this shit, don't be reckless. Like, they will be around you all the time. And if you don't have the opportunity for that for any reason, like you're living in a rural area, you don't have any coaches nearby where you live, the least thing you can do is to educate yourself, read articles, study the world-class strength training coaches, what they say, read some books, educate yourself. And if you want the best out of both worlds, you can get a coach and educate yourself simultaneously. This is the fastest way to progress.